It's the Comedy Cupcake. It's the Comedy Cupcake. It's the Comedy Cupcake. It's the Comedy Cupcake Show.
Welcome to the Comedy Cupcake Show, hosted by your favorite comedy couple, Lila Hart and Eric Abbenante. It is July 22nd, 2020, a beautiful Wednesday. How did you like today, baby? We just got back from the beach.
I loved it. Sorry. You know what's funny? It's funny to me that we get dressed up to do a podcast. Is this a podcast or a show? What is this?
It's a podcast and a video podcast.
It's the Comedy Cupcake Show. That's what it is.
Trick question.
I had a great day. We went to the beach, and we took some cute photos. Honey, we mermaid for each other.
Aw, that's so sweet.
Mermaid for each other, because I'm a mermaid, bitch, and you're a whale.
Nothing says love like Disney-related puns. Oh, it's so amazing.
Oh, thanks. I'm so talented.
So we haven't done an episode since your birthday.
I'm 29.
How has your 29th year began so far?
It's been great, it's been so good that I'm wearing this Happy New Year crown because I cannot wait for 2020 to be over. Happy New Year, bitches.
Well, yeah, that's part of why we've been to Malibu twice in your 29th year. It's been great.
My birthday
over
was great. My birthday was good. We went to the beach with Alan and Nikki, and then we had dinner with Eric's parents, and Eric wrote me a really cute card, and his parents wrote me a really sweet card. It was a good birthday.
Hell yeah. No, it was really nice, and all the presents were a hit.
They were beautiful.
Everything worked out splendidly, so we just wanted to relive some of that vibe again today in Malibu.
At the beach. It was great. Also, shout out to Krista Saul for my favorite new mug. Says, you're my favorite bitch to bitch about bitches with. That's right, because that's my bitch. I love you, Krista. Thank you so much. I literally have used this cup every day since I've gotten it in the morning, and that's why I'm double mugging it right now. Ooh.
Double mugging it.
I'm double mugging it.
Yeah, thank you for bringing that up, actually. It still amazes me. It'll never cease to amaze me. Multiple friends of Lila's sent stuff to her,
Oh my gosh, first of all, Eric, it amazes you that I have friends because you don't have any.
Well, no, it's
you have
more
Alan
like,
and me. I'm your
well,
friend.
you have, you have, what they would call fans that you've made into your friends. And that really, to me, speaks volumes about you and the kind of person you are and the kind
My fans are my friends. They coincide together. They're the same thing.
You have an Only Friends page.
Only Friends on Instagram at Love Lila Hart. Follow me. You could be my friend.
But yeah, no, I was just impressed because they sent really thoughtful gifts.
Yes, and Chris also sent me socks with their cats on them. It's like cat socks for me. So cute. Because I'm a cat mama.
You had another friend send you like a see-through glass.
Yeah, Saucin. She sent me a glass cup. It's upstairs in my room because I use it every night where I put my water in it. So if I wake up in the middle of the night and I'm thirsty, I can drink it. Anyways, it's like a cup like this, but it's made of glass, and it says Plant Mom because I'm a plant mama. I love plants. I love plants so much. You know the weird thing is, too? I didn't start getting obsessed with plants until November when we moved into our townhouse. Now I love plants, and that's why I have my little orchid here because I wanted to show off my plant. Well, you guys can see the plants in the background, but yeah, Eric got this for me at Trader. No, actually, Alan got this for me at Trader Joe's.
Yes, we've both gotten you orchids. We both care about you that much. And
Yeah.
then you also got a jade turtle.
Oh yes, from the Shorty sisters, Haley and Bren. It's right over there. It's on the windowsill. It's a jade turtle, and I like to call it Squirt because R.I.P. to Squirt. You guys found out last episode that Squirt's ass got eaten to death. So it really sucks. But now I have him as a jade stone. He's buried in the rosemary bush with Darla. So I've got 2 dead turtles in a rosemary bush upstairs. They've turned into fertilizer.
Wow, that rosemary bush is doing great.
It is thriving and growing. But yeah, I had a really good birthday, surprisingly. You know, with everything going on in the world and how horrible it's been, my birthday was good. Everything in my world is okay right now. So, you know, thank God. Thank you, Jesus.
Yeah, no, Malibu was awesome. It was like time traveling back to the faraway lands of 2019.
I know. It felt like 2019. Honey, I almost captioned our picture. I almost wrote, "You make me feel like we're in 2019." I thought that was going to be like really sweet if I said something like that.
That is very sweet. I appreciate that, baby. I always feel like I'm in 2019 with you every day.
Aw. 2019 wasn't even that great of a year, though, because we lived in mold. So I don't know why. Yeah, we need to talk about that in one of these episodes. But yeah, we had an apartment and we had toxic black mold, and it was horrible. I have diary entries where like all I'm talking about is this fucking black mold. It was fucking horrible. Yeah, we'll talk about that another episode. I'm trying to like not think about that time period of my life. So
it causes PTSD to go through it. I mean, it brings up so many memories. Let's see. The other thing I thought we could talk about is you have a new obsession, or I guess you already cranked through it.
Okay, first of all, he likes to say you have a new obsession. You watched every single episode with me, and then pretty much begged me to not watch an episode without you while you're at work. So.
Yeah, well, you know, I mean, but you're the one obsessed with it, you know.
Okay, we love this show.
I'm just a casual observer.
We love this new show on Netflix called Indian Matchmaking. Is that what it's called?
Yeah, I think it's called Indian Matchmaking.
It is amazing. So, first of all, I saw it trending on Twitter. And I was like, what is this show? My best friend, Prabjo, she's Punjabi. She's Indian. And I was like, I'm looking at Eric like, is she Indian? Yes, she is Indian. Shout out to Prabjo, by the way. She watches all our episodes, and I love you so much. So thank you for being my friend.
Yeah, she's great.
Thank you for being my friend because you know so much about me. And we've gone through so many periods of life together. Anyway, so this Indian matchmaking show is fantastic. I love it so much. We watched all 8 episodes in 24 hours because we stayed up till 3 o'clock in the morning watching up to episode like 6. And then when he got off work, we finished the rest of the episodes. But I love it so much.
Oh, yeah. It's really fascinating. For me, it's very nostalgic for me because my grandma, you know, who's passed now, she grew up in Mumbai. You know, back in the day it was called Bombay. And so she really brought an affinity and a love of the Indian heritage to our family. You know, I make curries and other Indian foods. I really love that. And you know, for me and our family, you know, it's like, oh, how do you have an Indian heritage? Well, we were Jews, kept getting kicked out of everywhere. Present day Israel, present day Iraq, present day Iran, and then they just kept sliding over to the east until they hit India. India was the first place that accepted them as Jews and didn't, you know, not only didn't kick them out, but they loved it so much that they stayed there for the whole time, like for a very long period of time. My grandma was actually safer in India during World War II than most of her European, counterparts, obviously. And so it provided a safe haven. I have a special love in my heart for India. And so it's just really cool to see a show kind of feature this, place and culture and the people within it.
I will definitely say watching this show gave me a greater appreciation for the Indian culture. And I do have a special place in my heart for Prabjo. So.
Yeah. Well, I think the most important part of this show, and I didn't even realize this. I mean, I'm not going to, flaunt and say, oh, I have such a great in-depth knowledge of the Indian culture. Very, very limited. I may, make my own masala, spice mix for, my curries and stuff, but it's pretty limited. I got to admit. And so one of the things I was kind of embarrassed that I didn't even know is that, arranged marriages, they aren't forced.
Sometimes they are, Eric.
Well, no, but it's like
not in this show though.
Yeah, well, I'm saying like a good, like I thought all arranged marriages were forced. So it just shows, my ignorance of a lot of this. And so it was actually really cool to watch the process. It was a lot. There's a lot more to it than I thought.
When we were watching it, I was like laughing at some parts because they have this when they match the different couples up. They have this thing called a bio data, which is like an about me. It's like an about me on MySpace, about me. And kind of just tells like their height and what they do for work. And I was just like laughing because a lot of the people wanted like somebody tall, and I'm like, mine would say 4'6", disabled, walks with a limp, you know, comedian, can't get on disability. Like,
Yeah.
you know, it would just say all these things that I think, who would want me?
Don't worry, baby. I found you. It was destiny. We were a match made in heaven, as they would say on the show.
Oh my gosh, I love the matchmaker on the show. It was so, I was like rooting for so many different people, and I just want everyone to find love. I can't wait for season 2.
If you want your woman to like ovulate and get ready for a baby, my God, you were like, oh my God, they're so cute. Oh my God, are they the cutest couple? Like, you were in the mood. You were so funny. You were just like, you were in the love mood. It was very funny because it's like there's this empathy that you have towards every one of the couples.
Okay,
probably the girls especially.
I talked to Prabja earlier, and I'm like, can you get married soon so that I really want to go to an Indian wedding. It's like, it's not about you, it's about me. I need you to get married like really soon because these weddings look off the hook. They look amazing. I need to go, Prabja. Please give me this experience.
Women do look so glamorous in the saris, and like it's just everything about like the jewelry, the dress.
I'm gonna pray every night that Prabja gets married soon, so I can,
for yourself,
for myself, because I want to experience this.
Yeah, no, I just thought it was so funny because most of the time, like you look at, you know, the bio data, like you were talking about, it's a very accomplished set of people. I mean, we saw like lawyers and, you know, engineers and people who own their own businesses. And, you know, it's like for me, be like in the cannabis industry, 5'3", you know, I mean, it's, you know, has 4 fake teeth in the front of his mouth. I mean, like, yeah, it is really, it's really good. It would be so tough to be represented by this bio data.
See, that's why you never were on Tinder, because people would, like, you don't even meet the height requirement, honey. Like, it would not, it wouldn't work for you either.
I didn't know Tinder was a roller coaster ride. That's very interesting.
No, people, yeah, you wouldn't meet the height requirement. I mean, I barely met the height requirement. So.
But yeah, no, it was.
Why did I say it like that? I barely met.
Yeah,
it's
you're fine.
I don't know. Who knows?
Yeah, you're totally, it's totally different for women. But yeah, no, I thought it was so cool how this woman, you know, it's like, it seems so complicated, but then she just kind of boiled it down to the most like simple
You know
terms.
what? And here's the thing. The best part of the show, okay? This is why people can't hate on it. They use astrology, okay? It's not just about, you know, the heights and stuff. It's about, do the stars align? Like, these people are really looking at the astrology, about the birth charts. And I know so many women who do that themselves. So how could this be wrong when they're really matching the stars?
Well, I would counter and say the best part of the show is the families and how the families deal with the matchmaking process.
It's hilarious. It's so funny.
Well, what I really love about, you know, how they represented the Indian culture was how much they care about family.
Yes, that was really sweet.
And, you know, sometimes they cared a little too much. You know, it's like you have the doting mother who's just like, you know, get married now. Get married before you're 25. You know, it's.
But you know what? It's weird as it is, like, I love that she cared so much. Like, cared to see her son find a partner. I mean, I just think about American culture and like they're like, get out, you're 18, we don't give a fuck about you. Like, do what you want to do. Like, you know. So I think it's really sweet how much family like matters. And yeah, family matters a lot to me. I love the show. 10 out of 10 would recommend. After I watch the show, I immediately called my friend Prabja. I'm like, you need to watch this. Please take notes and let's discuss. Like, how much of this, you know, have you gone through?
That's so funny. I find the most interesting part to me is like, it really shows a difference in the, you know, the emphases in the different cultures. We have more of an emphasis on like individualism, hooking up, you know, having a good time in your 20s. And it's they really. I
really felt like, how is this Indian matchmaking any different than what people are doing on Tinder for themselves? Because on a Tinder profile, it says, you know, your age. A lot of people put their heights in there because girls will have in their bios, like, don't talk to me if you're not above 6 foot. Like, the girls say that. And you know, it has where you live, like all of these different things, right? And you're basically judging someone by a photo and just this list of random things. But how is that any different than matchmaking? And you're just doing it for yourself, you know? And with the
I think that's a great point. I mean, it really, you know, we like to think we're so different from it, but it's very similar.
Eric, when I was in college and I would talk to guys, like I was that girl that'd be like, "When's your birthday?" And I'm like, "Oh, he is an Aquarius, not gonna work. Like I'm not even gonna pursue this any longer because I know our horoscopes don't match." I literally would do that. I was so obsessed with horoscopes.
Yeah, with me, it reminded me more of like a job interview because it is like a lot of what you choose to represent to get you the job, you know? And so like what the bio data more reminded me of a resume. And the resumes were really interesting because, you know, the way you present yourself, you know, towards, you know, people who you want, you know, to get the job with, it's so much different than who you really are. I mean, there were a lot of these people, like, on their bio data, I love to be outdoorsy, I love to do this, I love to do that, and then when you talk to them, when you get, like, the actual information from them, it doesn't really seem like they're that outdoorsy or they're that much of a traveler.
Everybody says, I'm adventurous.
Yeah, I know. There can't be that many adventurous people out there, you know? So I think that was the...
You know what's funny, too? Like, even that, I love to travel. Like, I've been to 20 countries. I don't necessarily love to travel. Like, the whole idea of travel, it's too much. But I've been to a lot of places.
But people choose these words to present a facades that, you know, they've learned that this will make them more interesting. And so, you know, no one's going to put in their bio data, yeah, I just really love, you know, chilling on the couch, smoking weed, you know, watching Netflix, you know. No one's going to put that, you know, because they know that's not going to get them anywhere. So they have to figure out, you know, certain code words and phrases.
Well, I think the best part of it is when people are like, I just want someone who's really kind and caring. And it's like, no, you want someone who's hot. Like, that's... That's why one of the guys I love to, like, keep talking about, like, it's like, I need someone who's attractive. Like, I need to have that attractive quality. I was like, at least he's honest.
Yeah, I thought one of the other best parts of this show was just seeing, oh my God, first dates suck. And not only do they suck, but, you know, they're so forced in general. Imagine your first date if there were 3 different camera angles of your first date, looking into 3 different camera angles of what is going on. And, like, that's pressure right there. You know,
that's so funny. But you know what, Eric? I think that, like, every relationship is kind of not like matchmaking, but in a way you are matched. If you don't, like, if you meet through friends, like, somebody had to connect you. Like, even me and Eric, you know, we had a mutual friend. She messaged me on IG and literally wrote, I know someone who wants to fuck you. That was what she wrote.
That wasn't how I intended the matchmaker to,
but that's how the matchmaker in our lives, you know, set it up.
The show makes a really good point. You know, the matchmaker isn't a deity or any of these things. It is just a person that, you know, connects to people that, you know, God or whoever, you know, whatever the universe is
Well, that's what I loved what the matchmaker said. This is the best part where she was like, matches are made in heaven. And it's just her job to connect them, you know, but they're already made in heaven.
Yeah.
Matches are made in heaven. So if you're out there and you're single and you're lonely right now, well, tough shit because it's 2020. It's going to be really fucking hard to meet people.
A lot of people.
But your match is made in heaven.
Yeah, somewhere.
Because you might die and you'll meet them up there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because 2020 has been one hell of a year.
Yeah, but I think that was...
Happy New Year. I'm waiting for 2021.
I think that was the coolest part about the show is just that people want to connect in some various ways. And, you know, in the end, you know, a lot of people try the new modern ways, the online dating, you know, just, or even the more traditional ways of just going out and meeting people. And for most of the people on this show, they had tried all these things and they were frustrated. And this woman was very good at curtailing what you wanted to what you were going to get. And in the end, the other thing, which was really interesting, you got to see that most people don't really know what they want.
They don't.
Or the things that the preferences that they have often conflict with each other and are diametrically opposed. You know, so it is kind of funny to me that we think we know what we want. You know, for me, I knew I wanted a funny girl. You know, that I could conversate with.
Did you know that you wanted someone with spina bifida? Was that like on the?
Oh no, I never ever thought I would date someone shorter than me. Not because I wouldn't like that. It's just because I didn't think there were a lot of girls shorter than me out there.
There
period.
isn't. There isn't, Eric.
So I just thought the odds of that happening were slim to none. So I'd prepared myself to be the short one, and so it was just like a different mindset. But yeah, what I got was so different from what I had thought I wanted. The only things that I think that you fit the bill on was that you're very beautiful, you're very funny, and you're someone I can always talk to and build a life with. That's really, those are the main things. Other than that, I had no idea what was going to happen.
I think the most important thing, too, is as far as attraction, you just have to find someone that is attraction that you find attractive. Like, everybody else doesn't have to think that they're hot. Like, you just have to think that
What in the hell are you saying? You saying I'm some hunchback who no one else thinks is attractive?
Why would you say hunchback? I'm the hunchback, you asshole. I'm the one with the back issues.
Yeah, but you're cute. Everyone thinks you're cute. Apparently,
Oh.
no one thinks I'm cute.
But why would you say hunchbacks? Because now I'm triggered.
Okay, I troll, disgusting person, whatever you were trying to set up that I was.
I'm trying to say you were that. I'm just saying, people need, I think a lot of times when people are looking to date, they want someone who they just care about looks too much. I just throw that out the window. It's not about looks.
No. You clearly cared about looks and you got what you wanted. What are you saying? What are you saying about me? This is terrible. You got a stud who so many girls just think is a pretty boy.
I had to brush your hair, Eric, before this. It looked horrible.
Okay, that's just, that's terrible.
Okay, but what
I have great hair.
Okay, what I'm saying is, what I was trying to say is that
I'm attractive.
you should find somebody who compliments you. Like, you don't. I'm really happy I'm with Eric, is what I'm saying. I'm just like saying.
Now you're saying you look good in contrast to me.
We look good together. I just think sometimes people who they're like a 6 out of 10 themselves, and they're over here being like, I need a 12. Like, I need someone who looks like A, B, and C. And it's like, yo, I knew what I was working with, okay? And I don't like, people are like, Eric, we're made for each other is what I'm saying. We're made for each other.
Yeah, because we're both ridiculously good looking. I don't know what you're trying to say about you. You got to use what you're working with. You're working with greatness, okay?
Oh, you're so sweet. But
when we were at the beach today, we were taking pictures, and while we were taking pictures, I grabbed Lila's butt. And when I grabbed Lila's butt, I got, a little aroused, and I had to sit on the towel because I couldn't show the whole beach, what Lila had done to me.
It was so funny. Oh my God, I'm so glad you like my uneven butt cheeks. But
yeah, exactly. To me, you're perfect. Okay.
Oh my God, that's so sweet. So everybody knows that you love me, and I love you.
Just say I'm attractive.
You're so hot. You're so hot to me.
All right. So should we get to my monologue?
Yeah. Let's take this somewhere else now. I'm gonna get some tea. All right. Okay. Let me get to it. Let's take a picture for our thingy. Do I look cute?
You always look cute, baby.
Do you like my hairy armpits? Ah, Eric, don't do that. Why did you do that? Are you going to cut that part out?
I'll cut this part out, too. Sweet.
That's horrible. You know what? If we weren't dating, that would be sexual harassment.
Well, we're dating.
That would be sexual harassment if this was a regular podcast with people that didn't know each other on Fox News. Just keep it in. That's actually pretty funny.
All right.
Okay. So it'll make it easier for you to edit. Okay.
All right. Well, thank you, baby. So we are back, obviously. I wrote another monologue.
You're just going to go into your monologue after you just grab my tit? Oh, my God.
Yeah, this is what professional news people do.
Yeah, professional news people who are wearing pajama pants underneath their nice shirt.
That is fake news.
Fake news!
Brought to you by a biased media source. I am very well dressed, and I have on Italian loafers right now, okay, on my feet.
No, you don't. You better not have shoes on in the house.
I do, okay? And
you don't. Your feet are bare. I see them.
I'm a bad boy, and I don't listen to you.
All right, you better listen to me. Okay, get to it.
All right.
Tell us what your monologue's about. Let me introduce you. Okay. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Comedy Cupcake. And now presenting the monologue, Eric Abbenante.
Ooh,
in the
like
news
that.
this week. Tell us what's happening.
I'm aroused like at the beach again. Good thing I'm sitting down.
Okay.
Anyways.
Oh my God.
So, I am no longer allowed to travel to China or Hong Kong without being arrested once I land. And if you criticize the CCP in any form, you are in the same situation. CCP's China passed its new national security law that gives itself newfound legal powers to crack down on political dissent. Article 38 of the National Security Law reads, quote, "This law shall apply to offenses under this law committed against the Hong Kong Special Administrative Region from outside the region by a person who is not a permanent resident of the region. This means any citizen of the world can be detained indefinitely if they step foot into the Chinese Communist Party's China, which now includes Hong Kong. Hong Kong was the last area of China that provided its citizens the freedoms we take for granted in the Western world. Now citizens of Hong Kong are like the rest of China, slaves to the CCP with absolutely zero rights. Not only that, but if anyone travels to any part of China, including, Hong Kong, you can be jailed for expressing political dissent towards the CCP. Traveling to CCP's China and now Hong Kong is like landing on the two corners of the Monopoly board. You're either in jail or you're going to jail. What happens in the CCP's China stays in China because you've been detained indefinitely. You cannot dispute whatever evidence the CCP claims to have against you because it's a he said, she said situation, and in China, whatever Xi Jinping says is the law. Quote, "Free Hong Kong, revolution of our times," unquote. This is the slogan of the Hong Kong protests that has been banned by the CCP. Protesters were arrested for simply possessing stickers and bumper stickers that proclaimed a pro-Hong Kong message. Despite the grave danger they are facing, the protesters, vast majority of them 40 and under, are unwavered in their support of liberty and freedom. These are the bravest millennials and Gen Z population in the entire world. Their American counterparts would not protest in the same fashion if they faced the same legal implications. The impacts of the CCP's erosion and complete demolition of the westernized laws in Hong Kong have been devastating for the formerly free citizens of Hong Kong. 10,000 protesters in Hong Kong, according to mainland Chinese police, have committed suicide.
10,000?
10,000 since these protests have started. That's this year. The CCP make more Hong Kong citizens commit suicide than anyone connected to the Epsteins or Clintons. If you think that CCP's China would not punish or jail citizens of other countries just for their political or religious views, well, they already have set a precedent. Sun Qian is a Canadian citizen who was arrested while visiting her mother in China. She was arrested solely for the crime of her religion, Falun Gong. February 19th, 2017, Miss Qian was taken from her Beijing home by plainclothes security agents who showed her no identification. She was detained and taken to jail without reason while they searched her home without a warrant. While in custody, Miss Qian faced brutal torture and other forms of mistreatment. In her harsh forms of interrogation, Miss Qian has been pepper sprayed, shackled with tight handcuffs, and has been left in solitary confinement for over 5 months straight. The guards interrogated her by using an excessive amount of pepper spraying to prolong the pain. After being pepper sprayed, she was not allowed to change clothes for 10 days straight. 24 hours a day for 2 weeks straight, she was confined to handcuffs, where she was prohibited from purchasing food, toiletries, and other necessities such as underwear or socks. There are prisoners of war who were treated more humanely than Miss Qian. She is just one of the hundreds of thousands of Falun Gong practitioners who have been detained solely for the crime of their religious beliefs. By the way, what is their religious beliefs? Breathing exercises. Ooh, scary. If criticizing the CCP will get you detained, certainly committing the crime of journalism in China will get you thrown in jail. Just this year, Lu Tiu and his partner Li Tongyu were finally freed from jail after a long 4-year battle for the simple act of reporting on the protests in China and CCP-occupied Hong Kong on their blog. They had published 70,000 incidents of crimes by the CCP, all of which have been deleted by the operators of the CCP firewall. The crime of journalism is generally called provoking trouble under the laws of the CCP. Lu and Li both reported physical and sexual abuse by the CCP police while in prison. Lu was once beaten by the CCP prison guards for simply asking that his light in his cell would be turned off. How poignant. Lu was jailed for shining a light on crimes committed by the CCP, then he was beaten for asking for his CCP jail's cell light to be turned off. Lu and Li broke up after their release. Just another Chinese family broken by the CCP. And there are many more examples. So let's review. CCP's China punishes you for criticizing China, even if you don't live there but God forbid travel to China. CCP's China punishes you for practicing religion and committing the crime of journalism. But also, there are people in China who are punished simply for existing. Just this week, a bus driver, only identified by his last name, Zhang, killed himself and 21 other Chinese students by purposefully driving his bus into a reservoir in Anshan. What drove him to this madness? His house was demolished without reason by the Chinese government. State-sponsored developers tore down his house so that they could build a larger, more expensive piece of property on Zhang's property and his entire neighborhood as well. Unfortunately, 1.3 billion of the 1.4 billion Chinese population do not have any rights. These are the slave Chinese. Only less than 100 million, around 90 million or so, who belong to the CCP have a modicum of rights, and even those can be taken away at any point at the whim of the CCP. This is the world that the Hong Kong population avoided for decades due to their westernized laws. Now, the stories of Sun Qian, Lu and Li, and the bus driver named Zhang could soon be the realities of every single Hong Kong citizen. Hong Kong citizens went from full freedom and liberty to the prospect of being arrested for political views, religion, journalism, and just existing. So, why should the world care? Not just because we care about the citizens of Hong Kong or the 1.3 billion Chinese who are slaves to the Communist Party. The national security law passed by CCP's China is a threat to every citizen in the entire world. there are implications for any human on Earth if they travel to China. But make no mistake, this law does not simply apply to mainland China or Chinese-occupied Hong Kong or Chinese-occupied Tibet or Chinese-occupied Taiwan. No, China's pernicious and now overt laws could spread further if they go unchecked. What's next? China will try and extradite world citizens for what is deemed as crimes against the CCP and detain them indefinitely, like what happened to Miss Chian. Without proper journalism against this existential threat to humanity, we might not ever learn about the extent of the crimes of the CCP's China that they are committing to its own population, and the population abroad that dare step foot onto Chinese land. Or in the case of Hong Kong, Chinese-occupied Hong Kong. If the world does not stand united, the CCP's laws may become our laws.
Okay, first of all, why you gotta say all that stuff sitting next to me? Okay, I didn't say none of that, and now you're gonna get me arrested because I'm next to you. Okay. And then we're gonna be like that couple up in there getting tortured and raped. And okay, first of all, Eric, I was out having a good time talking about Indian matchmaking. You're talking about some Chinese hell. I don't like this.
Well, it's really, to me, this is the most important issue of our time. It does not get talked about. Very similarly,
because if you talk about it, you're going to go to jail. And now you're talking about it on the show, well, but implicating me.
Well, to me,
I didn't say none of that.
Yeah. Just so you know, Wang Qishan and Xi Jinping and all the CCP.
I didn't say none of that.
Yeah,
he said it.
It's just me, you know.
Okay. Gosh, that's brutal. That's horrible.
Yeah, it is.
It made me feel all guilty that I'm over here in America just watching Indian matchmaking, just loving my life, drinking tea, going to the beach, doing things. Over here, people are getting tortured and raped in jail, and oh my God.
Yeah, well, you know, it's a different governmental system. Like, for instance, in India, that's the world's largest democracy, whereas China, there are 1.3 billion people who don't have any rights at all. And it's just a shame that
you know what's crazy to me, Eric, is that in the world of Twitter, Facebook, online stuff, you could say anything that you want if you're in America. Like, people aren't talking about this. People are not talking about this. Nobody's talking about this as much as you are, which gonna get me in trouble. But
well, there's reasons.
You would think that there would be more outrage.
Well, you get attacked mercilessly. For instance, the Rockets general manager, Daryl Morey, he committed the crime of tweeting, quote, "Free Hong Kong." That was it. Just free Hong Kong. And he got massacred online. LeBron James, the world's most famous basketball player, went after him and said what he said was terrible. I mean, it is kind of ironic. People...
Well, that's really interesting how you said, like, it will reach, it'll affect everybody else in the world. Like, okay... Sorry, I can't cite this correctly, but on Twitter, this was trending. Some high school football or high school basketball coach or something, he tweeted, "Trump is our president." That's all he wrote. Trump is our president. And then he got fired. It was like, well, Trump is the president. So I don't understand, like, why he got fired for just stating a fact. Like, Trump is the president. Like, I didn't know that saying Trump is our president is offensive to people.
Yeah,
but it is offensive. It is offensive to people. I posted a picture of me as a miniature Melania Trump.
Oh, this is great. I'll put that up right now.
A mini Trump, and I said Trump 2020. Like, you know, obviously, like, I'm being playful as a joke, and I was just like hashtag Trump 2020, and like, you know, some people thought it was a joke, but then some people like were upset, like, oh my God, you're voting for Trump, and it's like, dude, I'm in an outfit. Like,
yeah, and what was funny, you kind of told me the story. They had, you know, they wanted you originally to dress like Hillary Clinton.
Yes, they did. This was for a shoot for why can't I think of the freaking name of it? Whatever, it doesn't matter. Anyways, they and when I worked for Beecher's Madhouse, they they wanted us to dress as different characters, and they originally wanted me to dress up as a Hillary Clinton. The makeup artist was there, and she was going to make me Hillary Clinton. And I was like, fuck no. Make me a miniature Melania Trump. Like, I look more like Melania as a miniature, and let's do that.
You did have like a spitting like image.
You'll see the picture. It's going to look amazing. It'll be right up here.
You got the face down and everything, how she kind of has that supermodel pout face.
Yeah, it was great. But I'm so happy that we did that for the photo because it's just
first
hilarious.
of all, what would the makeup artist have done to make you look like Hillary Clinton? Would she have made you look older?
Yeah, she had a bunch of white powder and they had like a blonde wig, and it was just like, first of all, I didn't like oh my god, I didn't. Fuck Beecher's Madhouse for real though, like that. Ugh. Anyways,
and it's just an unfortunate position because it's like
I got yelled at the shoot because I argued against them for wanting to dress like I did not want to be dressed up as Hillary, and they got mad at me, and I was like, fuck this, like either gonna do it my way or not. Anyways.
Yeah, so, as a woman, I mean, it's such what a juxtaposition of two people you could be. Like, one is a supermodel and one is the most divisive woman on the planet.
I mean, and also has committed crimes against children and humanity and is an evil person, you know?
Yeah,
I did not want to do that. But to get back to the points, what I was originally trying to say was that, you know, it is crazy how we are coming into, here in America, people are trying to silence others, you know? Like, Twitter has banned, like, over 100,000 accounts for QAnon because they don't like what they have to say, or they're banning these conspiracy theorists. And like, it makes me feel like there is porn on Twitter. You can find naked shit. I could find, you know, a cup going in someone's ass on Twitter, but conspiracy theories are like, ooh, like it's low-key making me feel like, why are you don't want these people talking?
Yeah, well, to me, if they are,
is the earth flat?
If they're conspiracy theories, like, to me, the earth is flat. To me, that's a very, that's a very benign, harmless conspiracy theory because, we have images from space. And so therefore, if you want to say the earth is flat, go ahead. Am I going to believe you? No, but I think the point that you're getting at is very interesting.
I wish they would put, the same amount of effort in taking off all the pedophiles off of Twitter, and all these naked, it's just, it is so interesting to me that they took all of these accounts away because they didn't want to incite violence or incite, people to commit violent acts or whatever. But it's like 2 months ago when the protests were happening and the violent images that I saw that I feel like I have, we have COVID PTSD from this year. We saw people die on Twitter in videos, and then it's like, everybody gets to, if you shared images of people getting murdered, that's okay. But people talking about ideas,
it's
very bizarre,
It is very politicized what people attack and then don't attack. Like when, there were people looting and destroying that Target, people were, just like, it's a building. Who cares?
It's not a big deal. And then a month later, a woman goes in there and she knocks over all these masks and she's like, fuck the mask. And everybody on Twitter was like, oh my God, that's so disrespectful. Like,
she's a Karen.
The employees there have to clean that up. And it's like, okay, what about the employees whose entire building got burned down? Like, nobody cared about that.
And they don't get to clean up.
They don't get to clean
up.
They have no job. And it's, it's donezo for them. So it's just, everybody's just such a fucking hypocrite. Everybody is so hypocritical, holier than thou, and it's really sad and scary. And your monologue was scary and makes me feel horrible and scared. And I watched 8 hours of Indian Matchmaking, and now you just told me all this, and I don't know what to do.
Yeah, well, it is tough because we are because of the monetary incentive that the Chinese market represents. A lot of people are trying to, shut it down because they indirectly or directly profit off of what is going on in China. And what is going on in China? A concentration camp larger than Auschwitz, where 83 global brands from Amazon, Apple, all the way down to General Electric, Gap, and Victoria's Secret. They all make money and off of the slave labor of the Uyghur Muslims, this Chinese ethnic minority of Muslim descent in the Xinjiang province. And it's very, and that's just part of the horrific crimes that are going on throughout China towards humanity. And, we get on, people like Trump for what he does, and it is not the same. The levels of, it is such a false equivalency to be upset about, detaining illegal immigrants at the border for a period of time because they are, crossing the border illegally, to literally rounding up an entire ethnic group, 1.5 million of them, and then shaving their heads and then sterilizing, the half of them, and then so that you can't spread, their population out further. I mean, to me, it is really sad that we are more against our own country.
Yeah, we are. And, the audacity that some people have to say, oh, I'm so embarrassed to be an American. I'm so embarrassed of America. I've seen people post that on Facebook, and I'm like, you should be embarrassed that you spend your entire day scrolling online and you're not educating yourself about what's happening in other parts of the world and not understanding the freedom that we have in this country. To sit here and talk about, I am so embarrassed to be an American, when there's other parts of the world where they're not even allowed to speak against their country. It's a privilege to say that you're embarrassed to be American. It's a privilege to be able to even talk about that. And it's just, it's really sad.
Yeah, well, I think that's a great point. Like, you can scroll forever on social media and you'll never hear about this because the media is designed to teach you a certain point of view, and they're not going to give you the whole point of view no matter how much you scroll. And that's part of why the taking off the QAnon people is very suspicious. If it was
suspicious.
If it was so
suspicious.
If it was so harmless, like the flat earthers in my opinion are very harmless, then let them talk. Who cares? But if you're worried about what they're saying, you would probably censor them. That is what's happening in China. They aren't allowed to speak on certain things. They talk about, in China, coworkers do not talk to each other on their breaks because they're afraid to talk, period. They are afraid that they will get ratted out in some way and that will be the end of their family. And it's sad. There is a lack of connection. A very interesting story. If you are Buddhist or Christian in China, you not only have to worship Jesus or Buddha, you also have to worship the Communist Party leader Xi Jinping in the same sentence. And it goes further. Like, there's propaganda in that country that says, oh, if your parents are not as good as the Communist Party leader Xi Jinping, and oh well, Eric, what does this lead to? It's not a big deal. Well,
It is a big deal.
Right now, there are floods going on in China that are the biggest floods in not only the history of that country, they're the biggest floods in the history of the world. And no one's talking about it. No one's talking about it.
You know what? Because God ain't happy. That's why there's the floods there.
Well, in reality, what's happening is the CO2 emissions from China have melted the ice caps on the Tibetan plateau.
See, you're so smart. That's why I'm with you, because you know all this stuff. I'm like, God ain't happy. And you're like, I could tell you.
And they built dams across these various rivers, from the Yangtze River to the Mekong, and, all these rivers, right? And they built all these dams, and the dams are breaking downstream over and over and over again. And if you see these drone shots of the millions of gallons of water that are pouring out.
Well, just beware. If you search for these drone shots, they're going to know. So.
Mm-hmm. And that's the whole thing. It's like, because I've said what I've said just on this show, I would not be allowed to go to Hong Kong or Chinese-occupied Tibet or Taiwan. I would get extradited to mainland China. I would be in a prison for who knows how long. And you would never hear about me. And that's a scary situation. We have comedian friends, who have done stand-up in China. Now I would not advise against that because of this new national security law, Article 38. I would not advise that at all because even if you said if something benign, like, oh, I don't know, I like smoking weed. Well, that's against their laws. And if you say that, then they can take you in. So it's just, you do not know how far stretching it goes. And therefore, you don't want to, you don't want to test that.
Well, I feel like our media is keeping people, they want people to be fighting about really dumb things because there's larger things that are happening on the global scale that could affect us here, and people are just focused on a lot of narcissistic stuff. Secondly, the thing I wanted to say was, I lost my thought.
Well, no, I really think the whole thing, the first thing you touched on was the most important part. The media wants us to fight because outrage will get you to stay on the media sites and the social media sites longer than happiness, right? If you're happy, you'll go and live your happy life. And so they're trying to get everyone to fight. There's a classic story in news: if it bleeds, it leads. Which means the horrific, the terrible. That's what'll get people to continue to watch. And for instance, the amount of outrage we had derived from hydroxychloroquine. I went over it in one of the monologues of how there was actually a peer-reviewed study that showed that hydroxychloroquine is actually a very good drug. If you use it within the first week or two of having COVID, it will reduce your mortality rate by 50%. The clinical trials showed 26% mortality rate without it, 13%, and sometimes lower than that with it. And other countries are doing better than us in their death rates because of this drug, and it's really unfortunate because hydroxychloroquine is a $12 drug. Remdesivir, the drug we're now using, is a $3,200 drug. I wonder why they want you to take remdesivir over hydroxychloroquine.
It's all about the money. Okay, another thing I wanted to say too, I remember my thought, is like, I feel like a lot of people hate Trump because the news tells them to. Like, I don't feel like they hate him because it's like the cool thing to do, and it's all over the news.
There are a lot of reasons where you can hate any president.
There's a lot of reasons where I think you could dislike him, but
you make a great point.
What I want to say is that I'm on the team of America. Okay, I'm on the team of I love America. I want America to succeed. I want America to hold on to its family values that are here, and I am not on the side of destroying what America was built on as far as our freedoms.
Well, no, you make a great point. If you ask people why they hate Trump, they will say blanket statements like, oh, he's racist or da-da-da. They really can't give you specific reasons. And when they do give you specific reasons, it's generally it's not a very well thought out understanding of how the political system works. For instance, a lot of people will say kids in cages, that phrase. Well, that was started under Obama in 2014. And then they can give you another myriad of reasons like, racism and jails. And it's like, well, he actually passed prison reform. And, so there's a lot of different, a lot of different things. They could even.
And he's tackled sex trafficking more than any other president.
Yeah. And even the other main thing I would hear is the Muslim ban. And it's like, well, during Obama, a guy I voted for twice, he drone striked more Muslim people than anybody. He killed so many Muslim people. He deported more people than anybody. Mm-hmm. So it's just like there's so many reasons you could hate any president if you just looked at the faults instead of what they did. In the end, I'm rooting for our presidents to succeed. That's the lesson I had to go through under George Bush. I hated him so much, but in the end, I should have more, rooted for him to do well and then just been disappointed when he didn't. And that was the main issue, is we had so much hate towards him. And that's where really all of this started. It was, the Clinton Bush eras. We were so hateful towards Clinton and Bush.
Yeah, I'm just over everybody. I'm over politics online. I'm
Oh, yeah.
over it. I'm just so over it. Eric.
Well, good thing it's 2020 and you
Oh
won't
my
hear
God.
anything about it anymore.
Can we just
this
talk
year.
about Indian matchmaking? I'm just so sick of this conversation already, too. Okay, I'm done.
All
I'm
right.
sorry.
Is that how we're ending the episode?
I'm done.
I'm done.
I'm just done. Oh my God. This is why I like Netflix, because I could just watch stuff and then not worry about this.
It is
Okay, it's not that I don't want to. It's just so frustrating that everyone online is just so heated and just like it's like people just like want to be mad. They want to be angry. They want to hate someone because you know why? Because they're so miserable in their own lives, and rather than it all goes back to this and taking a look at what they can improve in their own lives, it's so much easier to look at things that they can hate on. And it's like, fix yourself, fix your families.
Yeah, you know what? I think to bring it full circle, I think that's why the Indian Matchmaking Show was actually surprisingly refreshing. We were going into it thinking, oh, we're going to have to make fun of this show. We're going to hate on it. And it was actually like just what the doctor ordered.
It was great. And it just like...
You got to see families being built. You got to see love, happiness, and hope being built.
And I loved how they talked about marriage is not just between two people. Like, you're connecting two families.
Absolutely.
You know, and I think that in our culture right now, it's just like, I'm independent. It's all about me. And it's like, no, what I love about Eric the most is that he comes from such a great family. You know, I have a great family, and our families will merge well together. And so I think that's important. People need to think about that kind of stuff. So I love the Indian matchmaking. I don't like what's happening in China. I'm really sad I won't be able to travel there because of this guy and everything he said, you know, and I'm upset.
Yeah, the one last thing I wanted to talk about with the Indian matchmaking thing, I thought it was very funny on both sides of the gender. You know, we both think we're so progressive and all this stuff. You know, men, we think, you know, all we want to do is just, you know, have as many girlfriends as possible. And women, oh, we're so independent, we don't need a man. But all these women, you know, were so, you know, upset about not finding a man. All these men were like very, you know, disillusioned with their lives by not finding a woman to settle down with.
You need a partner. A partner balances you out. And, you know, it's not just about yourself. It's about finding love, connecting, joining the families. And you know what? Trump is the president we deserve because everything you hate about him is everything that's wrong with you.
Yeah, and in the end, whatever president we have, I've learned through these last, like, 12 years, especially from Obama to Trump, it's just like, you know, we're all one big family in the United States, and we may, you know, fight and disagree, but in the end, I am rooting for the big family of the United States. I'm rooting for everybody. You know, when I look at the riots and the looting, it makes me upset that there's all these people who are feeling this pain. It's like, not just can we all get along, but why can't we build a better family together so that we all have something to lose and we all have a say in everything, and we all like are, you know, upset when we lose something. In the streets, in the riots and the looting, we saw a lot of people who had nothing to lose. I think that was the main thing we saw, and I root for everyone to have something to lose and to protect that they want to protect.
So to end this, I hope you all find love.
Yeah.
And make a family.
And whoever your matchmaker is out there, I hope they guide you towards your soulmate because, you know,
it's important. I think as strong families build strong communities, and strong communities, you know, build a stronger world. We need strong families and strong communities. I'm rooting. That's what I'm rooting for.
Your match is made in heaven. Now go find that match. Yes. Because we found ours.
Yay! Thank you for watching. I'm done. I'm tired.
What a positive way to end the episode.
It's 11:45 at night.
See you next time, guys.
Bye.